Hello there, welcome to CoreTV News at 7. I am Gift Ogete. The police authorities have convened an emergency meeting with senior officers to appraise the overall security situation. Inspector General Mohammed Abubakar presided over the meeting that also had zonal AIGs and the command CPS in attendance. Police spokesman Frank Mba said in a statement that the IG urged senior officers to evolve new intelligence gathering and crime techniques and methodologies to suit their respective local challenges. He added that the Inspector General of Police also charged them to improve on their surveillance network to ensure high police visibility across the country. The police chiefs are also to convene early preparations for the 2015 general elections through conducting adequate threat analysis and intensifying capacity building for electoral policing best practices. The military authorities have again denied allegations of human rights abuse leveled against soldiers operating in Northeast. Defense spokesman Major General Chris Olukolade says Nigerian troops waging war against insurgents have been operating in line with best international practice.
Accusations of human rights abuse will be investigated whenever it is believed to have occurred. And I must call your attention to the fact that this has become a stock in trade of organizations that have doubted about our ability to maintain integrity in our operations. But be sure that this remains a professional force. We are conducting our activities in the most professional manner, and we will stand by that. And until proved otherwise, we don't agree that these allegations hold until it can be proved. But the obligation we have is to investigate it, and when such allegations come, we do investigate them. Your other allegations are simply in the spirit of the other criticism that are, typical.
Members of the Bring Back Our Girls movement are demanding a more credible progress report on ongoing efforts to rescue hundreds of schoolgirls abducted from Chibok, Borno State in April. The group is also seeking a review of financing for security operations in the Northeast. This was the thrust of a press briefing organized to address by the Bring Back Our Girls campaigners to draw attention to the girls' 80th day in captivity.
Our movement is therefore making the following demands. 1. An accurate assessment of the effectiveness of the ongoing rescue operation and more credible communication of progress to the public by our federal government on its mission to bring back our girls without compromising sensitive operational information. They should include conveying substantive targets and milestones attained so far in the rescue operation. 2. Reassure Nigerians on the adequacy and effectiveness of the federal government's counterinsurgency strategy, especially in responding to the worsening security condition in Chibok and other parts of Borno State, where the federal government reported that it had deployed about 20,000 Nigerian soldiers early in May, as well as intensifying attention to the most vulnerable zones of the Northeast and the rest of the country in that order. 3. Review of the financing of our security operations by the federal government and the National Assembly to ensure adequacy and value for money, especially with regard to A. Allocation of resources for adequate compensation and welfare of security personnel in the military and other security agencies. B. Equipment, weapons, intelligence tools and systems. And C. Basic support facilities.
The venue of the national conference was momentarily thrown into panic when a delegate suffered what was described as a cardiac arrest. Ni Akintola, a delegate from Oyo State, suddenly had a fit in the course of today's session. But the quick intervention by some nurses and security operatives ensured that he was stabilized. The delegate was later driven out to an unknown health facility. The Independent National Electoral Commission has denied allegations that the Osun State Resident Electoral Commissioner REC, Rufus Akeju, has been removed. An ex-spokesman, Kayode Idowu, said in a statement he was only requested to proceed on leave of absence for his own safety and to ensure the credibility of the forthcoming general elections, governorship elections. He explained that the rec was asked to step aside against the backdrop of partisan acrimony over his person. INEC insists that Akeju has not been indicted for any offence and remains substantive resident electoral commissioner for Osun State, even though someone else would preside over the August election. The Edo State House of Assembly has impeached the Deputy Speaker Fustus Eba on allegations of misconduct. The 15 lawmakers, including the Speaker of the House, Uyi Igwe, endorsed the impeachment when it held plenary at an old chamber located at the Government House in Benin. Moving the motion for the impeachment, a member of the House, Folu Ogedengbe, representing Owan East 1, noted that the suspended Deputy Speaker was bound to be impeached, citing Section 92, 2C of the 1999 Constitution and Section 72, Rule 19 of the Assembly. The lawmakers also elected the new Deputy Speaker, Victor Eduro, who took the oath of office immediately. The House explained that it had to hold sitting at the old chamber following ongoing renovation in the chambers located at the Antonio Nahuru Assembly Complex, which are linked to the forcible entry by the Deputy Speaker and some aides. The House has adjourned sitting to July 7 and says it will resume plenary in the old chamber. However, the impeached Deputy Speaker described the development as executive impunity and madness. The Adamawa State House of Assembly has directed the Chief Judge of the state to constitute a 7-man panel to investigate the act of gross misconduct leveled against Governor Murtala Nyako and his deputy, Bala James Ngilari, for 7 days. The resolution was adopted by 20 out of 25 lawmakers that resolved that Nyako and Ngilari be investigated by the panel to be constituted by the Chief Judge of the state with immediate effect. The proceedings of the panel are expected to be held in public and shall be conducted from the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day of the 7 days. The lawmakers adopted the panel of investigation rules and procedure of Adamawa State, which Fintri said would include a chairman and a secretary and 5 others, and should adopt ordinary rules of fair hearing. Meanwhile, the Defense Counsel to Governor Murtala Nyako, Ayo Akam, who held brief for Nkanu Agbambi, described the action of the Adamawa House of Assembly as a contempt of court, as the court had already restrained the House from carrying on the impeachment process. Contrary to claims by the Adamawa state government that the state salaries account have been frozen by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the State House of Assembly says money is available for the payment of June salaries of workers and has called on the government to pay without further delay. The report.
The non-payment of June salaries in Adamawa State took center stage at plenary at the sitting of the House as a matter of public importance. Wafarni Theman, who presented the issue before the House, says it is worrying that 4 days into a new month, salaries for June are still unpaid.
In May 2014, worker salaries were deducted without reason. The House intervened with resolutions to no avail. Mr. Speaker, today is 1st of July. It is a tradition and a practice that salaries are normally paid 24th. With any delay, at least it doesn't exceed the end of the month. The salary for the month of June is unpaid as at this time as we speak. And naturally, civil servants and all citizens of Adamawa are worried. I want to call on all honorable members to look into this matter squarely. At any time, there's no reason why civil service should be put to stress. I believe it is the sole responsibility of this House to stand because we represent the good people of Adamawa State.
Lawmakers who spoke on the floor of the House decried the insensitivity of government to the plight of civil servants in the state.
This action is not fair to the people of Adamawa State, especially our Muslim brothers. It's not fair to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria because the Constitution first declares that the welfare of the citizens comes before any project or any other thing you can talk of.
I want to inform this House that on good authority, even though we have had in the news that the accounts of the Adamawa State government have been frozen, salary accounts have been frozen.
The Assembly, however, says it will support the probe of the state's finances by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission.
The first one goes, if the House will not objection, that the state government should, without further delay, pay June salary immediately for the fact that the salary account and the running cost account has been opened by the Economic and Financial Crime Commission. Is that the decision of this House?
One of the 20-point allegations of gross misconduct leveled against Governor Nyako is the deliberate non-payment of 2 months' salaries.
The Federal Executive Council has approved a 5.6 billion naira contract for the completion of Mangu Dam in Plateau. Briefing newsmen after the council meeting, Information Minister Labran Mako and his water resources counterpart Sarah Uchekwe said the project would on completion serve more than 700,000 people in the communities. They ordered that the project is expected to generate employment opportunities for thousands of local residents.
It's a very important project for the Mangu community, and the water supply scheme is supposed to not only support the people of Mangu, but also about 10 other communities along with Mangu. Overall, about 700,000 people benefit from this dam. So the Ministry of Water Resources, after terminating the contract for lack of performance, went back to BPP to procure the contract afresh for the completion of the Mangu Regional Urban Water Supply Scheme.
Today, Council approved the award of contract for the completion of the Mangu Dam, which is a component of the Mangu Regional Water Supply Scheme. The initial contract for the dam was awarded in 2002, but not much was done. Only about 22% of the work was done after 22 months. And the contractor did not show seriousness in completing the work. The first contract for the construction of the dam is called Trans Project Nigeria Limited. And between when the contract was awarded and when they stopped work, about 1 billion naira had been paid to them. Specifically, the communities that will be benefiting from this contract, the water supply scheme, are Mangu, Gindri, Mangu Hale, Kadunun, Vondi, Panyam, Pushit, Amper, Mangun, and Langa.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is now removing drugs without approved authentication service code from pharmacies. This, according to the enforcement team, is part of efforts to check the sale of counterfeit drugs in the country. Pius Samuel witnessed one of the team's operations in Abuja.
The mobile authentication service was introduced by NAFDAC 2 years ago. The aim is for consumers to easily detect counterfeit drugs at the point of purchase. But years after its introduction, some drug manufacturers are still not complying with NAFDAC directive. This pharmaceutical store was a point of call for NAFDAC pharmacovigilance team to clear the store of drugs without the mobile authentication service code.
Even when products are registered and are in the market, that people do at times counterfeit the products and also affix the NAFDAC numbers. So this mass code is a mobile technology-based system that we have brought to reinforce that securing of the products with the NAFDAC number, so that this mass code will now let the consumer know that this product is actually coming from that source that is stated on the package. And if the code is not there and it has a NAFDAC number, you may not know whether this is a counterfeited NAFDAC number or whether it's actually genuine. So they work hand in hand.
The NAFDAC official did not hold back as she ordered the manufacturers of these drugs to recall the drugs from circulation within 30 days.
Them 30 calendar days for them to ensure that the owners come forward. And then the owners themselves have 90 working days to ensure that these products are fixed with the mass code. The consumer at the point of purchase, when they purchase the product, before even they pay, they're supposed to scratch and send to the code that is there, the short code, and that will confirm whether it's actually coming from that particular source or not.
For now, NAFDAC has suspended the sale of these drugs on the grounds that they may not be healthy for human consumption. They can only be on the shelves when the mobile authentication service code is affixed on them. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
You're watching CoreTV News at 7. We'll take a very short break. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
CoreTV News presents a platform with presence in over 30 states of the Federation. The show to be had. For live coverage of events, we have the capacity to deliver from anywhere in Nigeria and beyond. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733, 014-533-407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Nigerians continue to
the city of Lagos
waits and dark as all routes
Be the first to know from the north, south, east, west and around Africa. We break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV.
Our 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. It's CoreTV News at 7. 11 Palestinians were wounded when Israel pounded targets in Gaza as militants kept up a volley of cross-border fire with rockets hitting 2 houses in the Israeli south, although there was no immediate sign of a return to the violent clashes which had engulfed East Jerusalem lately following the kidnap and murder of a Palestinian teenager in a suspected revenge attack after 3 Israeli teens were abducted and killed. The pre-dawn raid came after nearly a dozen rockets struck southern Israel, 2 of which were intercepted by the Iron Dome anti-missile system. The army said one scored a direct hit on a house in Sderot, causing an electric outrage across the town, police said. Even after the raid, the rocket fire continued with another project hitting a second house in the town, and army said that nobody was injured. The United Nations say it sees no reduction in refugees fleeing war-ravaged Syria for neighboring Jordan and appealed for funds to help the kingdom cope with the influx. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees says it expects the number of Syrian refugees in Jordan to increase by as much as 800,000 by the end of this year. The agency said Jordan is in desperate need of $2.6 billion to care for the refugees. Representatives of the UNHCR in Jordan, Andrew Harper, says the Syrian war has caused the worst refugee crisis since the Rwandan genocide.
40% of the requirements. That means, again, this is on the UN and NGO side, but the 40% of requirements does not really allow us to achieve what is expected of us. We do expect, and this is in discussions with the government of Jordan, that the population will continue to increase, the refugee population will continue to increase to some 700 to 800,000 by the end of the year. And what we're concerned about, next please, is that the level of funding will not continue to increase at the same rate. It would be basically 1 billion for the refugees and probably 1.6 for to support Jordan and the host community.
And that's CoreTV News at 7. Join us at 9:45 for Primetime News. I am Gift Ogete. Good evening.